Hey, Inner Power Entrepreneurs, I'm your host, Dr. Amanda, and if you're a coach, expert, or service-based business owner, you're in the right place to learn law of attraction strategies that will help you break through to six figures and beyond in your business. And in this episode, you're going to learn my top 5 entrepreneur takeaways from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. And this is so cool because this episode is number 44 of the Inner Power Entrepreneur podcast. And in numerology, the number 44 is associated with business, financial abundance, and building for the future. So when you see the number 44, it represents that you're going to reap rewards in the future, which is really cool. So that's what this episode's about, and it's perfectly timed for Think and Grow Rich. Let's start with a little bit of background on this book. If you haven't read it yet, first, it's an absolute must read. So there's your first action step. Go get Think and Grow Rich. I highly recommend that you have this book both in the paperback or hardback version and on Audible or in audio. And if you are an Audible member, it's a free version, at least when we were reading it in my book club. So that's why I'm covering this book right now in my Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program. So if you don't know about this, go to lawofattractionforentrepreneurs.com. You can opt into this for free and check out 90 lessons I have on the Law of Attraction. And in this community, it's like a paid for podcast where every single day I give you a lesson, and then on Monday through Friday, and then on Sunday we do a book club reading. And the last book that we just read was Think and Grow Rich. And I hadn't read this book since 2018 when I started my journey as an entrepreneur. My first full-time year of business was 2019, but in 2018, I was starting to prep and finish my dissertation to complete my PhD in sociology. And I was reading this book, getting my mind set up to be a business owner and to make more money because I was on food stamps. And this book blew my mind then, and then I hadn't returned to it. I had used it as a reference book and looked back at it a few times, but I really hadn't returned to it until just this last couple of months when we were reading it in my book club. And wow, it was really amazing to know how much it impacted me in 2018 and how much it changed my whole trajectory of my entire life, because I implemented what I learned in this book and I practiced doing the statements that he talks about. So he gives you very specific statements to create in order to think and grow rich. And the whole concept here is that he's giving you 13 principles of success. And they're more than steps. He gives you the steps, he gives you the ideas behind it, and then it's a secret code to turn your thoughts into money, which is what we all want, right? And here on the, Inner Power Entrepreneur podcast, I'm all about teaching you law of attraction strategies. And so in Think and Grow Rich, he really describes the essence of the law of attraction long before it really had that mainstreamed name. And so this book is made up of 25 years of research. So its original publication was in 1937. So when you're reading it, keep that in mind. He's writing from that era, post-depression, and he interviewed 25,000 people over a 25-year period. And some of them were big, huge, giant players of that time, like Carnegie and Edison and Ford. And he shares stories from these powerful, of course, at that time it was men, because that was the power force at the time. We could go into a conversation of if that's still true, but we won't do that. That's a little too much of a sidetrack. But this book is really his thoughts and his research. So it's a research-based book of successful people. I really love this because I think about how podcasters these days, this is often what they do, right? I've done over 300 interviews, 200 of them here on this podcast, and then I had a talk show on YouTube, and then I've been on other people's podcasts. So that's what podcasters are doing. They're collecting people together to interview or bring on as guests to share their information of knowledge, their wealth, their information, their knowledge, their wisdom. And then it informs both the podcaster and the audience in ways where they go, oh, thank you for the key takeaways so that I can now implement them in my life. And this is really what Hill was doing prior to podcasting days. He was doing a research book and bringing together powerful people who were successful in the area of wealth and learning what they did to get there. And so that's what you're going to find in this book. So his 13 steps that he describes throughout the chapters: number 1, desire; 2, faith; 3, autosuggestion; 4, specialized knowledge; 5, imagination; 6, organized planning, 7, decision, 8, persistence, 9, a mastermind alliance, 10, the mystery of sex transmutation, 11, the subconscious mind, 12, the brain, and 13, the sixth sense. And just hearing those, if you've been hanging out with me here on the podcast, you'll know that I talk about a lot of these things. And so when I was reading this book, I just thought, wow, this book really powerfully influenced and informed me and led me down a path of going deeply into law of attraction over time and really thinking about how to be successful through your mindset and so through turning thoughts into things. And so as I was reading this book, in the book club, of course, we break down every single step and talk about it. So if you want to participate in future book clubs or even go back and listen to what I talked about there, you can opt in for free again. So lawofattractionforentrepreneurs.com. Just check it out. It's one of the most powerful programs I've ever created, and it will blow your mind. And it includes a whole several weeks. I think it was 7 or 8 weeks on Think and Grow Rich. So today I'm just going to give you my top 5 takeaways that I want you to know. And I'm going to give you quotes and journaling prompts based on these top 5 takeaways. So if you can take notes, you can always come back to this later if you're running or exercising or doing the dishes or something, driving where you can't take notes. So let's start with number 1. Your mind creates money. So this is the first key takeaway. And obviously that's what the entire book is about. Think and Grow Rich. You are creating money from your mind. So if we recap his steps in the most distilled form, riches are created by having burning desire mixed with definiteness of purpose, faith, and persistence. And so I want you to really think about this. Do you have a burning desire to create wealth? Is it mixed with a definiteness of purpose, which means do you have a pathway? Are you serious about your why? Are you clear where you're going? Do you have faith and believe that it's possible to create wealth out of being an entrepreneur? And are you going to persistently take action? This is critical because I bet if I were hanging out in a room of 1 million people and I asked everyone in that room to raise their hand if they want to be financially free, 100% of people would raise their hand. But then when I ask how many people are, it would be 1 to 2% of the room. Why is that? It's this right here. Many people say they want money, but they're not willing to do what it takes. They don't have the belief set that they can do it, and they're not persistent in their actions. And so if you want to create financial abundance, financial freedom, it starts in your mind. It starts with burning desire, mixed with purpose, mixed with faith, and persistently taking action. So that action piece is very critical. It's, yes, you think and grow rich. It's not that you sit on the couch and think and grow rich. When you have desire, burning desire is what he talks about in this book, you will automatically take action. So if you're not taking action on building your wealth and instead you're taking action on spending a whole bunch of money, having shiny object syndrome, getting scattered in your energy, procrastinating, fearing, then you aren't actually a person who is setting your mindset up to create money, because instead you're focusing on lack, scarcity, doubt, uncertainty, and you aren't taking action. And you want to assess, am I not taking action because I don't really have the desire? Is it because I don't have a purpose? Is it because I don't believe it's possible? I'm lacking the faith. And because action is evidence of belief. If you believe something to be possible, you will automatically take action. If you have enough of a desire, you will automatically take action. So remember that action is evidence of belief. So your mind creates money. It starts with the burning desire in your mind first. So you go, I want to be rich. I want to be an entrepreneur who successfully creates money out of thin air. That's what entrepreneurs do. It's so cool. You have the greatest opportunity as a service-based entrepreneur to come up with solutions to people's problems and get paid for that in an unlimited amount. That's so amazing. Okay. So some quotes associated with, this takeaway that I discovered in this book, Your Mind Creates Money. He says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Success comes to those who become success conscious. Our only limitations are those we set up in our own minds. Riches begin in the form of thought. The amount is limited only by the person in whose mind the thought is put into motion. Faith removes limitations. Oh, that's powerful. So riches begin in the form of thought, and you are only limited by your own mind. And so the journaling prompts associated with this that I came up with to share with you, I want you to consider, what riches do I desire to create? Get really crystal clear. How much wealth do you desire to create through your business? And then what limited money beliefs are blocking my money magnetism? So get clear with yourself on your money beliefs. Are you a person who wants money, but you aren't getting the results that you desire from your business? Then you have unconscious money blocks. If you haven't read my book, I'm a Money Magnet, go to IamAMoneyMagnetBook.com. Free chapters and 100 journaling questions in the book that will help you break through your money blocks. This would be critical. So what limiting money beliefs are blocking my money magnetism? This is work. And I want to say play. It might feel like work to break through your money blocks, but really I want you to play every single day with up-leveling your money mindset. So that's the next question. What will I do to train my brain to attract money into my business? So because your mind creates money, if you aren't getting the money that you desire, you better start retraining your mindset. You better up-level your money mindset. So what will I do to train my brain to attract money into my business? So play with those journaling prompts. And again, I'm going to say it one more time just to make sure that you know that every day I give you journaling prompts in the Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program. So lawofattractionforentrepreneurs.com will send you to the right place to start getting journaling prompts every single day to break through your unconscious money blocks. Okay, number 2. So this is my second takeaway from the book. Fear kills money magnetism. Fear kills money magnetism. So if you are not in flow, experiencing money flowing into your business in an easy way, somewhere you are stuck in a state of fear. And my definition of fear is the future expectation of awful results. And Napoleon Hill agrees with me that this is one of the biggest problems resisting or pushing away money magnetism, because he spends the last 50 pages of his book talking about how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. I love that phrase, how to outwit the 6 ghosts of fear. And he says that the fear of poverty is the worst. So I'm going to read this long passage. So he says, the fear of poverty paralyzes the faculty of reason, destroys the faculty of the imagination, kills off self-reliance, undermines enthusiasm, discourages initiative, leads to uncertainty of purpose, encourages procrastination, wipes out enthusiasm, and makes self-control an impossibility. The fear of poverty is, without a doubt, the most destructive of the 6 basic fears. Ooh, so fear of poverty. Now, this is interesting because when we think about fear killing money magnetism, and that fear is nothing more than a state of mind, we must decide to change ourselves and get into a state of flow. Now, this is tricky because fear is one of those insidious, sometimes hidden, unconscious problems. And most people go, well, if I could just kick my fear away, I would do it right now. Of course. The issue is that most people aren't even willing to slow down enough to look at what they're afraid of. This is why journaling and self-reflection is so important, because it helps you recognize what you're afraid of. So my inner power formula is recognize, reframe, repeat to reprogram. And what Napoleon Hill is talking about here is that you must recognize what you're afraid of. Otherwise, it will take over your entire being. It will paralyze you. He uses that word so powerfully. Paralyzes the faculty of reason, destroys the faculty of imagination, kills off self-reliance, undermines enthusiasm, leads to uncertainty, encourages procrastination. All the problems that we have are based on this fear. And most people don't recognize what their fears are. In this chapter, he spends 5 pages leaving questions to help you understand yourself better, because he says you must recognize what's keeping you stuck. And so everything I teach here is about that as well. You've got to recognize your fears instead of pretending they're not there, so you can reframe them to get different results. And so if you are stuck in a state of lack of flow, I will say that is an indication that you somewhere inside of you have fear, because you're only in 2 states, fear or flow. fear or love, fear or flow, fear or love. Those are the two states of being that you can be in. And of course, there's a spectrum of fear. So you might not be on the very lowest spectrum. You might be higher up and you're starting to have some flow. That means that you're reducing fear and you're moving up the scale of consciousness and you're using your thoughts in an empowered way to create riches. And that's what this whole book is about. And so if you are wanting to attract easier money, then you must face your fears instead of pretending they're not there. It actually makes you a more courageous and powerful person to face your fears than it does to pretend they're not there. So ask yourself, am I letting fear hold me back from financial success? And you could ask yourself, how am I letting fear hold me back from financial success? And then what actions will I take to reprogram my money mindset? So again, this is a money mindset reprogramming. Start by reading his book. It's incredible. This book will blow your mind and change your life. Join me in my program. Hang out with like-minded people or hang out with people who are wealthier than you who can show you the way to raise your wealth consciousness. So there's some steps that you can take in order to start to alleviate the fear, in order to see the fear, transform it, and then be able to move up the scale of consciousness and expand your money mindset so that you can then use your thoughts to increase your wealth. Okay? Number 3, success comes from burning desire. So he talks about this a lot in the book. It's the first step to wealth. So burning desire for your business's success isn't just a wish. So you can't wish that your business will be successful. It must have a definiteness of purpose. And he talks about definiteness of purpose a lot. To me, the way that I would frame that in language today would be know your why. You must know your why. You must have a burning desire to be a successful entrepreneur. Channel your energy into your why. Concentrate on your vision, and this will propel you to take relentless, strategic, persistent action. When you know your why, the way will appear. When you know your why, opportunities come your way. When you know your why, the hows take care of themselves. So you don't need to know the whole process if you have burning desire. I love this example of thinking about the woman who lifts the car off the child. She doesn't stop to think, can I do this? Is it possible for me to do this? She just has burning desire to save her child and she does it. That's what burning desire is like. You've got to have a burning desire. You've got to overlook the parts that you don't know how to do yet because they will appear to you when you have burning desire. So success comes from burning desire. Napoleon Hill says, the starting point of all achievement is desire. The starting point of all achievement is desire. He says, a burning desire to be and to do is the starting point from which the dreamer must take off. Oh, that's so cool. So when you're taking off to build a successful business, when you're taking off to grow to the next level in your business, you must have burning desire. So everything starts with burning desire. It's the starting point of all achievement. And this is because desire is a manifestation force. Think about anything that's ever been created in the history of humankind. It started with an idea and a desire, right? It's really wild to think about. So if you are lacking purpose right now, if you are lacking inspiration to take action, if you are procrastinating or you're struggling with shiny object syndrome, go back to your why and remember why you started your business. Remember why you want to serve people in the world. So ask yourself, do I feel the fire within to help people? Do I feel the fire within to build a successful business? Describe your burning desire. And when I'm doing journaling along these lines to tap into my why, I'll write in my journal, why do I love being an entrepreneur? Why do I love helping people? Why do I care about impacting 5 million people through my company, which is my big vision, right? So get clear on your burning desire. And I promise you, if you awaken your burning desire today, that is your first step to wealth, just like Napoleon Hill says. So success comes from burning desire. Number 4, unwavering faith keeps you going. So it starts with burning desire, and then faith is what keeps you going. And number 5 is persistence, and we'll talk about that too. So faith and persistence. So right now, I want you to think about, do you have the faith in your ability to guide your clients towards success? Do you have faith that you can be a successful, powerful entrepreneur? Do you have faith that the universe is going to bring you opportunities? And what are you going to do to cultivate that faith? And I would say take action, take action, take action. Start getting results. And when people say to you, thank you, you've changed my life, that will continue to perpetuate your faith. It'll grow your desire, because there's nothing better than helping people and them saying to you, wow, you've been a positive contribution in my life. So unwavering faith is what keeps you going. And so this is faith in yourself and the value that you bring to the people that you serve. And this is a non-negotiable. You've got to have faith in yourself. People are buying your confidence that you can help them. So do you have faith that you can help people in your service-based business? Faith in universal laws is also critically important. And that's why you want to keep hanging out with me here and join me in the Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program, because I will help you stay on track by inspiring you daily and keeping the faith alive. We all need this. I listen to uplifting content every single day to keep myself going, right? We all need to continue to stoke that fire of desire and faith and persistence. So in this principle of faith, Napoleon Hill says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. And I know I said that in our first principle, which was your mind creates money. Again, that's faith. So whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve, that's faith. So if you believe it, it's faith. Another thing that's really important to think about here is repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. I'm going to say that again because that's a little complex. So repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion of faith. The reason I point this out is because everything I do here is about reprogramming your subconscious mind, and the Inner Power Formula is a subconscious reprogramming tool. Number one, you recognize. Number two, you reframe. Number three, you repeat to reprogram your subconscious mind. So it's what he's saying here. Repetition of affirmation. So an affirmation is a positive statement to your mind over and over and over and over again. And when you do this voluntarily, and I would say consciously, you start to reprogram the subconscious mind and develop and cultivate your faith. And so it's critical that you are doing things daily to strengthen your faith. So use mantras that I teach in my book and in the Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program. So questions here to ask yourself: do I have faith in my ability to guide my clients towards success? Do I have faith in my power as an entrepreneur? Do I have faith in the universe to bring me opportunities? And what will I do to cultivate my faith? So those are great journaling prompts to increase your faith and cultivate that unwavering faith that will keep you going. Number 5, persistence creates wealth. So this is another key takeaway from his book, Persistence Creates Wealth. In the roller coaster journey of entrepreneurship, persistence is key. And I would say you are never going to be persistent if you don't have a strong why. If you don't know your definiteness of purpose, if you don't have a solid desire, a desire that keeps you going and the faith that keeps you going, you're never going to be persistent. We are only persistently taking action on things that we really, 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 really want. Right? And I know that you know this because look back at any habit, any success that you've ever created, the habits that it took to get you there were only able to be followed if you had a very strong desire. You know, sometimes I think of the example of losing weight for a wedding. You can do that because you persistently take action until the deadline of the wedding and you lose the weight to take the fancy pictures and look great in your outfits and all those things. But then it will only continue on if you continue the desire to feel healthy, because otherwise you just go back to your old habits. So persistent strategic action as an entrepreneur is only going to happen when you are clear on your desire. So you must know your why. That's why it's so critically important. It's why it's his first step in creating wealth is desire, desire, desire. Okay. So to be persistent, increase your desire. Napoleon Hill says, most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. Oh, that's so powerful. Most great people have attained their greatest success just one step beyond their greatest failure. The reason this is so important for persistence is because a lot of people, when they quote unquote fail, or let's say that they have hardships, then they quit. Right? They decide, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. It's not going to succeed. But they stop 3 feet before gold, what he talks about in the book. I love this. He gives a really great story about stopping 3 feet before gold. And that's why he's saying be persistent, because most great people attain their greatness just one step beyond failure. And he says, riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite plans, backed by definite desires through constant persistence. That's so good. Riches do not respond to wishes. So are you wishing for riches? Ask yourself this right now. Am I wishing for riches, or do I have a definite plan backed with burning desire? What persistent actions am I willing to take? Write out a plan and get started. What persistent actions are you willing to take? What's your why? Do you have faith? What are you doing to create persistence, desire, faith? That's what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. You got to want it. You got to love it. You got to own your power. You got to take daily action. You've got to be an inspired badass to build a business that can create millions of dollars and impact millions of people. And I don't know what your goal is. Maybe it's 6 figures. Is it 7? Is it 8? Whatever the goal is. Maybe it's $50K because you want a supplemental income to go on trips with your family and, build a retirement fund as a supplemental source of income. Any of those things are possible for you. You have limitless power available to you right now. And it's going to start with his 13 steps. And I distilled them down to my 5 key takeaways so you can just hyper focus on those. I want to give you a bonus here. In the book, he talks about the power of a mastermind. Napoleon Hill is the person who really coined the term and conceptualized the concept of a mastermind. He calls it the mastermind principle. And I want you to remember that a mastermind leads to expansive growth. So he says the mastermind is coordination of knowledge and effort in a spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. And he gives some really cool practices to create an imaginary mastermind community and talk to them. And I teach this in my Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program. I teach you how to tap into your mastermind so that you can get information from collective consciousness and infinite intelligence to guide you on your way. So this is another really powerful takeaway from this book. And I just wanted to add it as a bonus thought about how it's important it is to spend time with like-minded people. So a few important ways you can hang out with me to mastermind and commune with other like-minded entrepreneurs. Hang out with us in the Facebook group. So Inner Power Entrepreneur Facebook group, just go there. The links are in the show notes. We would love to see you there. I'm going to be building that and doing a lot more community and connection as it grows. So come hang out with us there. And then the Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs.com, go there and join us in that community because it is a powerhouse mastermind of awesome people who are driven to build businesses that they love and make the limitless amount of money, whatever amount that is that you choose, learning how to turn thoughts into things, learning how to turn thoughts into riches, applying Law of Attraction strategies that will help you break through to whatever level of success you desire. So let's recap today the 5 key takeaways from Napoleon Hill's book. Number 1, your mind creates money. Number 2, fear kills money magnetism. Number 3, success comes from burning desire. Number 4, unwavering faith keeps you going. And number 5, persistence creates wealth. So go back and listen, write down those journaling questions, answer them, and empower yourself to think and grow rich. And of course, join us in the Law of Attraction for Entrepreneurs program. Until the next episode, I'm sending you giant hugs and think and grow rich, inner power high fives.